Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to learn how to tie a feathered treble hook. There's a lot of times in bass fishing if you put a feathered treble hook on the back hook of like a topwater or a jerkbait or anything like that, it can really make a big difference. And some of those treble hooks can be really expensive to buy them with feathers on them. So what I've done for the last few years is I'll actually make my own in my garage over the winter time. It's a good thing to do to kind of help out with that cabin fever and kind of get back in the groove of fishing before fishing season actually starts. But the things you'll need for this is obviously a treble hook. You can pick whichever. That's the other good thing about this little trick is that you can pick whichever treble hook you want. Some feathered treble hooks you won't be able to find in that specific hook that you're wanting, but this way I can pick a treble hook that I want to throw my feather on, and I can basically be more specific that way. Another thing you're going to need is a vise, and this is the same vise that I use for like tying jigs and stuff like that. Really can come in handy for a bunch of different things. Scissors, thread to tie it on, and any material you want. So like feathers, and you can even add some like tinseling add a little red to it. And then I use a hard clear coat that goes over the top to kind of hold the threads tight after I'm done. First thing I'll do is I'll set up my vise so it's nice and sturdy, and I'll pick the hook that I'm wanting to use and put that feather on. Put the hook in the vise and really tighten it down to make sure that it doesn't move at all whenever you go to tie in your knot. Take the thread that is already in the bobbin, and I'll start putting the backing on the shank of the treble hook. This gives the thread something to hold the feather onto rather than the smoothness of the hook. It'll have something to kind of dig into whenever you're tying your knot. So then I have to figure out the length that I want my feathers to be, and usually I like to hold that up to the actual hook. I'll cut the first one, and then I'll end up cutting the other two by just holding it next to the first one rather than up against the hook. One thing that I think is important is to make sure that you cut the tip of the feather off rather than just using any part of the feather. I think that very tip of the feather and having that at the bottom of your hook adds a little bit of a flare to the treble hook, and it makes a big difference. Usually my three feathers are about 1.5 to 2 inches from the tip. The first feather that I put will be between one of the hook shanks, and I'll make 3 or 4 wraps around it in order to basically just hold that in place. And then I'll put the next feather in between the other 2 hook points, and then the third feather will go between the third hook points. And at this point, if you want to throw any tinseling in or anything like that, you basically do the same step. But after I add each feather, I'll do 3 or 4 wraps around there just to hold it in place. So once you have everything you want, where you want it, now we're ready to actually finish up our knot and tie it onto the hook. So I'll basically wrap it all the way around the hook, keep going and work my way all the way up to the eye of the hook until finally I get to where the threads look like they're basically finished and I'm ready to tie my knot. When I go to tie my knot, so I'll basically use my finger to hold a loop in the line, wrap that thread around the loop, and then put the bobbin through the loop. And then I'll kind of cinch it tight a little bit, and I'll do that 2 or 3 times in order to really make sure that knot will hold. After I'm done tying my knot, I'll cut as close as I can without cutting the knot. I'll cut the tag end off and apply that hard cement or nail polish or that clear outside coating that will basically prevent your threads from unraveling while you're fishing. So now we got our feathered treble hook tied up. We can let that dry for a little bit and throw it on our favorite bait, cast it out there, and catch some big old bass. Make sure you guys follow along for more tips, and we'll see you guys next time.